Did you know that there are $4 billion worth of unclaimed property at the Pennsylvania State Treasury? Well, to find out if you're one of the lucky ones that has some of that unclaimed property available, we are talking with the man who knows all about it, James May. And James is the Regional Public Affairs Manager for the Pennsylvania Treasury Office. James, thanks for joining us. This is really interesting. I knew there was always unclaimed property, but I didn't realize how much. So this is a big thing. You're trying to find out the people who have this property available.
Well, 1 in every 10 Pennsylvania residents on average has money, unclaimed property at the Pennsylvania State Treasury. And the average claim is about $2,000 each. So there is a lot of money. And we have a new Pennsylvania State Treasurer, Stacey Garrity. She actually comes out of the private sector. And as such, she sort of has this mentality of a private sector person, not someone who spent a lifetime in government. She wants to return that money to the people because it's the people's money. And so there is an effort underway right now to return as much money as we possibly can to the people, because this is really our money. This is not money that belongs in Harrisburg. It's not tax money. This is money that for a number of reasons has gone down to Harrisburg into what is, you can almost sort of think of it like a big lost and found down there for money across the state that comes down there. And you're right. Right now we have about $4 billion. That's billion with a B, $4 billion worth of unclaimed property down in Harrisburg that we're trying to return to Pennsylvania residents.
That's amazing. So where does this property come from, and what types of property are we talking about?
Most of the money will come from safety deposit boxes at local banks. So if a bank has a safety deposit box that has no activity whatsoever on that for 3 years, after 3 years, they send letters out to the original owner. They try to contact them. And it might be that the person has died, that somebody else has moved. Maybe somebody has died and the children have moved. And so after 3 years of trying to reach out to the person with no activity and no way to find the owner, then the contents of that box are sent down to Harrisburg. And there's actually a team, the Bureau of Unclaimed Property, that will open the boxes down there. And when they open those, they're getting these boxes in, and most of them come in right before an April 15th deadline. They open the boxes and at that point really have no idea what is in there. So one time they opened a box and there was $20 million worth of gold and platinum bars. Another time they opened a box and there was a stuffed piranha. But it can also be things like stocks. It can be and unclaimed employment checks that don't normally come down in the box, but there'll be unclaimed employment checks, stocks and bonds, and just the whole gamut of things that come down. With tangible items, eventually, these are items that have been for 3 years. Nobody has made a claim to them. They've tried for 3 years to find the original owner. After 3 years for tangible items, they will sell those items at auction, and then the money goes into the general fund in Harrisburg. But people can make claim to those in perpetuity, forever. You can go and you can make a claim, and there's a verification process you have to go through, but you can make a claim to whatever money assets that you had. Even if it was sold at auction, you can still go back, and whatever the value of that was at the time, you can make claim to that. The one exception to that is military decorations. And when military decorations come down, those are the items that will never be sold. And so we have a team right now. It varies. It's right around 700 military decorations that we're in the process of returning to veterans or their family members, the descendants, the next of kin, that we're trying to work to get these military decorations back. So that's the one exception to the policy that, after 3 years, the items are sold. Military decorations are never sold, and we're trying to work to get those back to the veteran or their family members at this point.
Now, for someone watching this, can they claim it for a deceased relative, only for themselves? How does this work? Tell us the steps to go about claiming it or finding out if we have something.
Right now, you can go on the website and you can begin the verification process, patreasury.gov, and you'll see a tab up there for unclaimed property. There's a separate tab that we have in there for the military decoration. So if you want to search for military decoration, you can do that. So when you go on there and you look for your name, but then also look for maybe a grandfather or relatives maybe who have passed away, or if you see other family members in there, let them know. Once you do that, you can send a form in, and then you begin the application and the verification process. They take a lot of time to make sure that the right person is matched up with the money, and especially with the military decoration. So there is a verification process that you have to go through, and there's a team that will do that.
Today's news feature is brought to you by the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott. Need to relax? Book a stay at our indoor pool and dry sauna. Call the Fairfield Inn and Suites by Marriott at 570-453-0300.